Welcome to Mythology Lore, where ancient secrets meet modern curiosity. In today's video, we dive into a provocative question: why did the Vatican fear angels more than the devil? While demons are often cast as villains, angels, those radiant, winged beings, hold a far more complex and terrifying role in religious texts. From divine wrath to apocalyptic judgment, these celestial warriors weren't always messengers of peace. Could the Church have seen them as forces too powerful to control? Stick around as we unravel the myths, theology, and hidden fears that shape this divine paradox. Let's explore the shadow side of the sacred. The Watchers and the corruption of humanity, an exploration of the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish apocalyptic text attributed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, offers a compelling narrative that expands upon a brief passage in Genesis 6. It introduces a group of celestial beings called the Watchers, who descend from heaven to earth and bring about a dramatic shift in the course of human and cosmic history. These Watchers, originally holy angels, betray their divine mandate and unleash chaos by revealing forbidden knowledge and fathering a race of hybrid giants known as the Nephilim. Though not demonic in origin, the Watchers are portrayed as spiritual rebels, once divine, now fallen. Their story is one of power, temptation, and cosmic consequence, and it offers deep theological and symbolic implications that have influenced later Jewish and Christian eschatology. Origins and identity of the Watchers. The Watchers are first introduced in the Book of Enoch, particularly in the Book of the Watchers, 1 Enoch 1-36, a section dating to around the 3rd century BCE. The term Watcher translates from the Aramaic irim, meaning those who watch or those who are awake. These beings were tasked with observing humanity and serving as guardians over the earth. In their original capacity, the Watchers were divine agents, holy angels with a noble mission. But their role as sentinels and intermediaries between heaven and earth changes when a faction of these angels begins to lust after human women. In 1 Enoch 6, a group of 200 Watchers, led by a powerful angel named Semyaza, or Semjaza, descend to earth at Mount Hermon. There, they make a pact, swearing together to carry out their plan to take human wives and father children. This deliberate descent is not a mere fall, it is an act of collective rebellion, a breach of heavenly boundaries motivated by desire and curiosity. Forbidden unions and the birth of the Nephilim. The union between the Watchers and human women leads to the birth of the Nephilim, described as giants of great power and violence. The name Nephilim likely comes from the Hebrew root npl, meaning to fall or fallen ones. These offspring are hybrid beings, part divine, part human, and are said to grow to great size, consuming all of humanity's resources and turning to cannibalism and bloodshed when the earth can no longer sustain them. In this narrative, the Nephilim symbolize the unnatural results of divine-human fusion, representing a distortion of creation. They are not only physically threatening but morally corrupt, bringing destruction and accelerating humanity's descent into depravity. The earth, once a balanced creation, becomes a corrupted and violent place. This myth serves as an etiological account, explaining the presence of evil, corruption, and suffering in the world before the flood. The Nephilim, like the Watchers who fathered them, are not merely characters in a supernatural story but metaphors for excess, chaos, and transgression. They reflect what happens when boundaries, between heaven and earth, divine and human, knowledge and ignorance, are broken. The teaching of forbidden knowledge. One of the most significant aspects of the Watchers' transgression is not merely their physical union with humans, but the knowledge they impart. This forbidden wisdom includes skills and technologies that accelerate the corruption of mankind. According to 1 Enoch 8, each of the Watchers taught specific domains of knowledge. Azazel taught humanity to make swords, knives, shields, and armor, introducing the art of warfare. Semyaza taught enchantments and root cuttings, early forms of sorcery and magic. Barakegel taught astrology and the movement of the stars. Kokabel shared the knowledge of constellations. Ezekiel taught the signs of the clouds, meteorology. Arakiel revealed the signs of the earth, geography or perhaps geology. Shamsiel instructed humans in the signs of the sun. Serial explained the phases of the moon. This transfer of knowledge is strikingly similar to the myth of Prometheus in Greek mythology, where a divine being defies the gods to bring fire, and thus civilization, to humanity. But unlike Prometheus, whose gift to humanity is often interpreted as positive or at least ambiguous, the Watcher's gift is almost entirely negative in Enoch. The knowledge they offer leads to warfare, vanity, through the teaching of cosmetics and jewelry, and occult practices. The text suggests that certain types of knowledge are inherently dangerous, not because they are false, but because they are misused. The divine order was meant to protect humanity from knowledge it could not handle. In revealing secrets prematurely, the Watchers not only violate heavenly law but also accelerate humanity's moral decay. Not demons, but fallen angels. A crucial theological detail in Enoch's narrative is that the Watchers are not demons in origin. They are not part of a devilish race bent on destruction from the beginning. Rather, they are angels, beings created by God with good intentions, who stray from their assigned purpose. This makes their fall all the more tragic and complex. They were not evil by nature but chose rebellion. In a sense, their fall mirrors that of Lucifer in later Christian theology, though the Book of Enoch develops this idea independently. This distinction also clarifies their role. They are not chaotic agents like demons in the New Testament who seek to torment or possess. The Watchers corrupt through temptation, curiosity, and disobedience. They embody the dangers of unchecked ambition and desire, especially when divine boundaries are ignored. In this way, they are more like tragic figures than purely malicious ones. Judgment and cosmic consequence. The Watchers' rebellion does not go unnoticed. The archangels, Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel, are sent by God to respond. Their actions are swift and severe. Raphael binds Azazel and casts him into a desert, covering him with jagged rocks. Gabriel is commanded to destroy the Nephilim. Michael is sent to imprison Semyaza and the rest of the Watchers in the depths of the earth, in dark and fiery pits, where they will await the final judgment. The punishment of the Watchers is deeply tied to apocalyptic themes. Their imprisonment in the abyss foreshadows later Christian ideas of hell and the binding of Satan. The flood of Noah, presented in Enoch as a response to the chaos caused by the Watchers and the Nephilim, is not merely an act of divine wrath but a cosmic cleansing, a restoration of divine order. Enoch himself plays a key role as the righteous scribe who intercedes with God on behalf of the fallen Watchers. But his intercession fails. God refuses to forgive them, citing the gravity of their sin and the irreversible corruption they caused. This refusal underscores a stark theological principle: some transgressions are so severe that even divine mercy has its limits. Symbolism and influence. The Watcher's narrative is rich with symbolic meaning. At one level, it is a myth about cosmic order and chaos. At another, it reflects real historical concerns. The forbidden knowledge, weaponry, sorcery, astrology, mirrors anxieties about the rapid development of human civilization and the potential for self-destruction. The Nephilim may symbolize oppressive warrior kings or tyrants from ancient memory, whose size and power made them seem like demigods. The story also addresses theodicy, the question of why evil exists if God is good. In Enoch, evil is not God's creation but results from the misuse of free will by divine beings. It is a cosmic accident with disastrous consequences, not a flaw in divine design. The Book of Enoch was highly influential in the Second Temple period, shaping Jewish apocalyptic literature and later Christian writings. The concept of fallen angels and their punishment can be found in the New Testament, particularly in 2 Peter 2 verse 4 and Jude 1 verse 6, which directly allude to angels who sinned and were cast into gloomy dungeons. Even the early church fathers, such as Tertullian and Irenaeus, drew upon Enochian traditions, though the book was eventually excluded from the canonical Bible in most Christian traditions, except the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which still considers it scripture. Contemporary reflections. In modern times, the story of the Watchers has been reinterpreted in numerous ways, through literature, film, occultism, and even pseudoscientific theories about ancient aliens. These reinterpretations often emphasize the idea of divine knowledge being withheld from or given to humanity, playing into themes of conspiracy and hidden wisdom. But beyond these modern takes, the Book of Enoch offers enduring insights into the nature of power, responsibility, and moral order. The Watcher's fall is not a tale of foreign demons invading a pure world, but of familiar, once trusted beings succumbing to temptation. Their sin lies not in their nature, but in their choices, reminding us that even the highest can fall when boundaries are ignored. The story of the Watchers in the Book of Enoch is a profound and unsettling myth, rich with theological and symbolic depth. These angels were not demons, but holy beings who fell from grace, not through a moment of weakness, but through a collective decision to abandon their divine calling. Their descent led to the birth of the Nephilim, the teaching of forbidden knowledge, and the corruption of the earth. Through this narrative, Enoch presents a cautionary tale about the misuse of knowledge, the fragility of divine order, and the limits of mercy. It is a cosmic drama that explains the presence of evil in the world not as a flaw in creation, but as a tragic rebellion, one that echoes through apocalyptic literature and continues to resonate today. Lucifer, the morning star, pride, ambition, and the fall of the brightest angel. Before he became the devil, Lucifer was the morning star, a seraph of unparalleled beauty, brilliance, and authority in the celestial hierarchy. His name, derived from the Latin lux, light, and fere, to bear, literally means light-bearer. This title, often associated with the planet Venus shining in the dawn sky, symbolized his position as the most radiant of angels. In Christian theology and literature, Lucifer's fall from heaven has traditionally been cast as a cautionary tale about rebellion against divine authority. Yet, if we look deeper into this myth, a more nuanced picture emerges, one in which Lucifer's descent was not born of inherent evil, but of pride, ambition, and ultimately, free will. His fall becomes a story not of monstrosity but of tragic beauty, framing the devil as a being who was punished not for malice, but for seeking divinity on his own terms. The nature of Lucifer before the fall. In Christian tradition, especially as drawn from interpretations of Isaiah 14 verse 12, "How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." Lucifer is imagined as the highest of all angels. While this passage originally referred to the fall of the Babylonian king, it was later reinterpreted by Christian thinkers to refer to the devil. Theologians such as Saint Jerome and later church fathers cemented the identification of Lucifer as a fallen angel. He was believed to be a seraph, the highest order of angels, closest to God in the celestial hierarchy. Lucifer's beauty, wisdom, and power were unrivaled. Ezekiel 28 verses 12 to 17, often interpreted as an allegorical description of Lucifer, portrays him as a being full of wisdom and perfect in beauty, created blameless, walking in the Garden of Eden adorned with precious stones. Such imagery reflects the awe-inspiring nature of Lucifer before his fall. He was not only magnificent in form but also functioned as a divine governor, possibly tasked with overseeing other angels or elements of creation. What makes Lucifer unique in this context is that his fall is not attributed to temptation by an external evil, no serpent, no Satan whispering lies into his ear. His downfall begins internally, in the corridors of his own heart and mind. It begins with pride. Pride and the seed of rebellion. Pride, in Christian theology, is the original and most serious of the 7 deadly sins because it gives rise to all others. In Lucifer, pride was not simple arrogance, it was a desire to ascend beyond his station, to rival or even surpass God. In Isaiah 14 verses 13 to 14, again traditionally attributed to Lucifer, the voice says, "I will ascend to heaven, I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will make myself like the Most High." This was not a desire to destroy or corrupt but to ascend, to elevate himself to the plane of divinity. Herein lies the tragedy. Lucifer did not fall because he hated God, he fell because he loved himself too much. His desire was to be more than an angel, to be equal with God, to claim a divine agency that had not been given to him. This ambition is not unlike the human impulse for self-realization, for reaching one's fullest potential. In this way, Lucifer becomes a mirror of mankind, created with intelligence and beauty, yet given free will, which can lead either to harmony with God or to catastrophic self-aggrandizement. The role of free will. Lucifer's fall underscores the importance of free will in the divine order. Angels, like humans, were created with the ability to choose. Without the potential to defy God, their worship would be hollow, automatic, a kind of celestial programming. Lucifer's choice, then, validates the reality of free will in creation. He chose pride, he chose ambition. In doing so, he also chose separation from God. But what if that choice was not purely malicious? What if Lucifer's ambition was, in some sense, noble or tragic rather than evil? After all, seeking knowledge, wisdom, or even greatness is not inherently sinful. It becomes so when it violates the divine harmony, when it puts the self above the collective good, or above the Creator. This interpretation opens the door to seeing Lucifer not simply as the villain of creation but as a complex character who embodies the danger and beauty of autonomy. In exercising his will, he sought to redefine his existence, to become more than what he was created to be. He rebelled not because he hated the light, but because he wanted to be its source. Theological implications: a devil of tragedy, not just evil. Framing the devil in this light offers profound theological implications. Traditionally, Satan is the enemy of God, the tempter of men, the father of lies. He is seen as the embodiment of evil, diametrically opposed to all that is holy. But the story of Lucifer complicates this. Before he was Satan, he was an angel who fell not from malice but from misdirected greatness. This view is not meant to exonerate him but to contextualize his fall. In Paradise Lost, John Milton famously explores this perspective, portraying Lucifer as a tragic hero whose famous line, "Better to reign in hell than serve in heaven," captures both the grandeur and the folly of his ambition. Milton's Satan is charismatic, persuasive, even sympathetic. He refuses subjugation, even if that means suffering. He becomes the author of his own destiny, though it leads to ruin. The tragedy here lies not just in the fall but in what was lost, the potential for greatness redirected into rebellion. This echoes the human condition: our greatest strengths can become our greatest weaknesses when turned inward. Lucifer and the human psyche. Lucifer's story resonates deeply with the human psyche because it represents an archetype that appears in myths, literature, and psychology, the brilliant being undone by pride. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychoanalyst, saw Lucifer as a symbol of the shadow self, the repressed part of our personality that contains both evil and untapped potential. In Jungian terms, the devil represents the consequences of denying our inner darkness rather than integrating it. Lucifer's desire to define his own divinity can also be seen in the modern individualist ethos, where personal empowerment is prized. In this way, he becomes an emblem not of sin but of the perils of unchecked self-determination. What begins as empowerment can become alienation, just as Lucifer's quest for self-sovereignty led to isolation and damnation. The devil as a cautionary tale. Understanding the devil as a fallen angel rather than a creature of pure evil serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It warns not against ambition itself, but against ambition divorced from humility and wisdom. Pride becomes dangerous when it blinds us to our limitations and disconnects us from the larger order of which we are a part. Lucifer's fall illustrates that the line between greatness and ruin is razor-thin. The higher one stands, the farther one can fall. It teaches that power and beauty, when not tempered by virtue, can lead to destruction, not just of others, but of oneself. This reframing also humanizes the concept of evil. If the devil once was good, then evil is not a separate substance or entity but a corruption of the good. It is potential gone awry, beauty turned inward, freedom misused. This makes the battle between good and evil not a war between distant cosmic forces but a conflict within the soul of every individual. Redemption, a question left open. An intriguing question arises from this perspective: could Lucifer ever be redeemed? Traditional theology says no, his fall was final, his rebellion eternal. Yet if his fall was due to the misuse of free will, and if free will continues to operate, could repentance ever be possible? This idea remains speculative and controversial, yet it reflects a deeper longing in the human heart, the hope that no one is beyond redemption. Some mystical traditions suggest that all beings, even the most fallen, are ultimately drawn back to the divine source. In such visions, even the devil might one day kneel not in defeat, but in reconciliation. Whether or not one accepts this possibility, the very question reaffirms the moral complexity of Lucifer's story. He is not merely a monster, he is a symbol of the heights we might achieve and the depths to which we can fall. Reframing the devil. In viewing Lucifer not simply as the devil but as the morning star who fell from grace, we are invited to see his story not only as a tale of rebellion but of tragic potential. His fall was not the eruption of pure evil but the flowering of pride, ambition, and the assertion of free will against divine order. This interpretation does not seek to glorify the devil but to understand him, to see in his story a mirror of our own struggles with identity, autonomy, and limitation. It reminds us that even the most luminous beings can be undone by the shadows they cast. Lucifer's tale stands as a testament to the complexity of creation and the moral tensions at the heart of freedom. He is a figure who defied heaven not to destroy it, but to become it, a choice that cost him everything. In that choice lies the tragedy, the warning, and the enduring mystery of the morning star. Thanks for watching Mythology Lore. If today's dive into why the Vatican may have feared angels more than the devil made you rethink what you know about divine beings, hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Are angels truly protectors, or something more fearsome? Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss our next journey into the hidden truths of mythology and religion. New videos every week exploring the stories behind the symbols. Until next time, stay curious, question everything, and remember, not all that shines is benevolent. See you in the next one.